You tell Bass Pro, if they want to sponsor Adventure Outdoors, they gotta pay more than Cabela's, which I already got a huge offer on. No, that's the truth. Bass Pro can't handle the truth. This is going to be part 2 of the Fishfinder install on the Hobie Outback. If you thought part 1 was maybe one of the best videos you've ever watched, you better strap yourself in, because it's fixing to get real. What I have here is the power cable from the Helix 7 and also the power cable from the Naqua power supply. So what I got to do is I got to hook these together. And in the Naqua power supply, it comes with 2 crimp connectors, a piece of heat shrink tube. So what you're going to do is you're going to connect the red to red and the black to black. All right, go ahead and slide that heat shrink over one of the cables and go ahead and start crimping. So I'm going to slide the black in there and I'm going to crimp it. Right, now I'm going to double crimp it. Alright, so that's in there. You can see it's not going to pull out. So I'm not going to bore you with doing all this on video, but you're going to repeat that process and then I'll come back to you when it's time to heat shrink. All my connections are made. The heat shrink is ready to go. So I'm going to use a torch on low flame to go ahead and set that heat shrink. Okay, I think that's on there pretty good. Let that cool a second. I'm a little bit excited here. Since I've made the connection, I can't stand it. I'm going to go ahead and plug the power supply in to the Humminbird Helix 7. I'm too impatient. I can't wait. So, plug it in. Alright, you'll hit the power switch. Oh, oh yes. We have power. That is awesome. Transducer not connected, of course. But we're almost home now. I went ahead and painted the PVC board black so it would better match the Hobie. But man, it's starting to look good now, isn't it? What I ended up doing here is installing a Yak Attack Mighty Mount. And what this will do is it will hold one of these little 1/2-inch balls, slide it right in there, tighten it up, just hand tighten it. And I'll hang the transducer arm right off of that. And also another thing is I can use this for other attachments, rod holders, whatever I want to do. So the only thing I'm going to have to worry about now is the power cord from the transducer routing itself up to the Fishfinder. I've had to drop back and punt just a little bit on this install. So here I've got my board mounted, and that's where the depth finder will mount. But what I've decided to do is mount my transducer arm back here beside my seat. And what this will allow me to do is I will be able to reach it easier in the event that I have to lift it up. You know, if I'm in shallow water. If I mounted it up here, it would be so hard to reach. I would actually have to come out of my seat. So I think as far as the Outback goes, this is going to be a better solution for me right here. The pedal drive is slightly lower than the transducer arm, so I've got plenty of spare right there on that transducer arm, so I'll probably end up cutting a few inches of that off And the good thing, I'll know if I ever scrape the fins, I know my transducer is also too low and I can lift it up. The way I've decided to mount the power supply is I've actually installed 4 cheap little D-rings, and then I've used 10-inch bungees, and now that thing is really on there. It's very secure. Something really bad will have to happen for this to let go. So that's how I'm mounting the power supply to the board. Okay, this install is complete. Now if you watched part 1, I had to make a few modifications. It didn't turn out exactly the way I thought it would when I started, but all of you who are kayak fishermen and who make mods to your kayak, you know that when you start something and when you actually go out to use it, what you finish with, your end product, could be totally different than what you had envisioned. So like I said yesterday, I installed some D-rings to hold down my power supply, and what I did here, I installed 2 additional D-rings to the board. And what I did is took those Night Eyes gear ties. I love these things. They are so awesome. So I tied down all my extra cable there. Now, because it's a Hobie, it's not easy. There's no real good place to mount a cable. I didn't want to go inside, so what I did is I used some of these basically picture hangers. They're made by 3M. They're cheap. You can get them at Lowe's or Home Depot, and they simply stick, and they're perfect to hold the cable. So I just ran the cable on the outside under where the paddle will go over here, and I mounted my transducer here. So now if I'm sitting in my seat, I can simply reach down, loosen that, drop my transducer, okay, tighten that, and I am ready to go. If I get in shallow water, all I need to do is loosen it a bit, raise it up, give a tighten, and now I'm good to go. I'm in the shallow water and I have got that transducer out of the water. The great thing about this install for me personally is I can remove all of this in just a matter of probably a couple minutes or less, and I can, for security reasons, I can, you know, take it in the house or wherever I'm at. Simply loosen that, the transducer comes off, and up here on the board I only have to undo 2 wing nuts and the entire unit comes off, and I can take it inside for safety, security, and charging. Okie dokie, part 2 is over. I had a lot of fun installing this. I've been wanting to do it, so I'm glad this is over. Can't wait to get the yak out on the water. Hopefully maybe you got some ideas out of this. Your comments and suggestions are always appreciated. And I think I only had to go to Lowe's 47 times, if my count is right, 47 trips to complete this project. All right, I'm Steve. I'll see all of you in the next video.